Welcome to the Alternative Hair Alchemist podcast. Now, whether you're one of the hundreds of thousands of women experiencing hair loss for any number of reasons, or if you're curious and want to check out what alternative hair is all about, you are in the right place. Hi, I'm Deborah. I am a certified alternative hair specialist, educator, and the co-creator of a one-of-a-kind, shame-free, stigma-free alternative hair boutique called Very Best Little Hair House, and that's where the magic happens. That's where I help women and men like you find the alternative hair that brings their inner beauty out. We take over where genetics or Mother Nature dropped the ball and help you find and wear the alternative hair that makes you feel vibrant. I've made it my business to discover all there is to know about good wigs and toppers, and I love to talk about them. It's not just hair. It's so much more than that. This is about feeling complete, and if alternative hair is the way for you to do that, I got you covered. Yeah, it sucks when you see your scalp shining through your hair, but you know what? There is joy in finding the right alternative hair, trust me. It can be overwhelming at first. I mean, where do you start? Wig, topper? Oh my God, will somebody know? What if my wig falls off? First of all, take a deep breath, I got you covered. This podcast addresses all things alternative hair. It's not always as easy as just finding a wig and putting it on, so I'm going to give you a tell-it-like-it-is viewpoint from what I see firsthand. I've been through it all: stress, hair loss, alopecia, chemo. So I started my own journey about 20 years ago, and at that time I had nobody to talk to or get advice from, so I am here for you. And I can tell you this, even on my best natural hair day, I never looked or felt as confident as I do in my alternative hair. And now, after 5 years of helping people in my shop get over that fear and get out there, I am bringing this to you to inspire, empower, and educate you. It's simple. When you look good, you feel even better. And if alternative hair is part of that confidence, who cares if you grew it or if you bought it? Forget your grandma's wig and prepare to look red carpet gorgeous. Time to end this shame and stigma. Life is too short not to love who you are, and I want you to get excited about the possibilities. So grab your headphones, feel the love I am sending your way, and let's do this. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Alternative Hair Alchemist podcast. This is Deborah Heim. I am your host. I'm guessing you know that by now, but I like to say it over in case this is your first episode and you're joining me. I am thrilled that you are here. This podcast is about alternative hair. The time for alternative hair is now, and this is a movement. So I am glad you are joining me. I want to get your mind over any fears you might have and get you excited about alternative hair. One of the reasons I thought it would be good to have a podcast about alternative hair is because just sometimes the word wig has a really bad connotation, because when you hear wig, you think of like the bad wigs you see on people and the obvious stuff. So I like to use that word, but I use it very sparingly, because when I'm talking about alternative hair, I am talking about an alternative to hair that you grow on your head. However, I have a vanity plate on my car that says Wig Lady, and I did that also intentionally for the reason to get the conversation started about wig. And it's crazy. When I get into a parking lot, I notice more often than not, people are looking to see who gets out of the car and whether or not you can tell if I have a wig on. So I just love having this plate. It's been really cool and a real conversation starter. And just this past week, when I got out of the car, the lady, she was a couple cars down. She stopped. I could tell she was looking, and she goes, "Oh, I like your plate, but I thought when you got out, you would be wearing a wig." And of course I was. But that's just what I'm trying to tell you, is that you can get to that level where people just ask me who does my hair. And it wasn't always that way. Even when I started my shop, I had worn wigs for almost 2 decades. Thought I was really good at it. And, you know, I was. But as you handle wigs and learn them, you will choose better and better. When I look at some of my choices from 5 years ago, it didn't look like a wig, but I'll tell you, the more you get better wigs, the better you will get. It's come to the point where I have a shirt that says wig snob, because people are ashamed when they get the better wigs. Like, they don't want to admit what they spent on them or what have you. It's almost like the mindset is the less you pay for it, the better. And I'm going to tell you, that's not the truth. Not just because I have a wig shop, but because when you allow yourself to experience the better thing for your head, you're going to love it. And I always say the ripple effects from having good hair can affect way more in your life than just your hair. But it's a good start. Now, I'd like to start off this week by talking a little bit again about the human hair versus synthetic debate. And what I want to tell you about this week is my opinion on the best out there. Now, most people, I've said this before, when they hear the word synthetic, all of a sudden a bad image comes to mind. But today's synthetics, even what I've seen the past few years from when I started, are becoming so high tech. The technology is great. The colors are amazing. And you probably already know you can get regular synthetic, and they make a synthetic now that you can use heat on. And wig wearers everywhere will have an opinion on whether, unless you're really new to it, then you'll find out as you go along, and keep an open mind. But some people are either of the camp where they love regular synthetics or the synthetics that you can use heat on, which are sometimes, depending on the manufacturer, heat friendly, heat defiant, whatever. The point is that you can use heat on them. And if you are new to alternative hair, when you mention heat okay synthetics, almost somebody for sure will tell you, oh, they frizz quickly, or oh, they tangle. And here's the thing. All wigs tangle, whether it's human hair, whether it's synthetic, whether it's heat defiant. And heat defiant has the reputation for getting frizzy faster, but I'll tell you, I've learned how to beat it. And one of the things I love about the heat okay synthetics is that you can use heat on them when that frizz occurs, and you can make them look just as fresh as new. And for that feature alone, I love it. Plus, in my opinion, the heat okay fibers tend to have a little bit less of a shine, although not saying that synthetics are overly shiny. Some are, but there's a difference between the shine of healthy hair and the shine of a cheap plastic wig. So when you're talking about regular synthetic, you can find them that are not overly shiny. And what the difference I find in the regular synthetics is that texture is finer. So if you have baby fine hair, sometimes the regular synthetic will mimic your natural hair a little bit better than the heat defiant. But one thing you need to think about with regular synthetics is to restore them or to change the style, you're going to have to master the use of a steamer. And I say that because I'm not skilled at it. You can use a steamer that is designed for clothes. You can get one as cheap as $10 on Amazon. But John Renault makes one specifically for synthetic wigs that has like a nozzle so that you can direct your steam. When you're steam styling, you need to be careful of the heat. And it sounds like, oh, well, of course you do. But I'm telling you, you need to be careful and watch where you're spraying the steam, because you'll feel it on your hand. And certainly by no means ever try and steam something while it's on your head. I say that because it's happened. The other thing you want to try and remember is that when you are around an oven, a quick blast of heat is enough to kind of damage, if not ruin, your regular synthetic fiber. And I tell everybody, all my clients, before they leave the shop, have someone else take things out of the oven, or at the least get to the habit where you stand to the side of the oven. But I'm going to just go ahead and admit it right now. I've even done it recently, because now the wigs are so comfy, you forget you have them on. And trust me one time and you'll learn, but it's easy to forget. So I offer that to you to keep in mind as well. And before I go any further, let me say this. When you are choosing a wig, it is not so much what it's made out of that is the most important factor in looking real. Okay, you have human hair, you have heat okay synthetics, you have regular synthetics. But more importantly than what it's made out of is the construction and the workmanship itself. And trust me, there is a difference. I make sure everything that I carry in my shop, I inspect personally. And there is a huge difference in quality. And you really only can learn it by having the better wig. Or if you come to my shop, I explain the difference as we go along. But certainly don't ever rule out a wig because it's synthetic or just because of that reason, because the way that they make them nowadays, some companies are better than others. I said it before as well, like not every lace front is a good lace front, but by encouraging yourself to get out there, try alternative hair, you will find better and better things. And before you know it, you'll be a wig lady in your own right. But let's get back to the heat defiant synthetic versus the regular synthetic debate. Like I said, you will hear that the heat defiants tend to tangle and frizz more. And one of the things that I have found is that whether it's your regular synthetic or a heat okay synthetic wig, taking care of it less is more is my school of thought. They will sell products that you can use to assist detangling and they work. However, I find that if you overuse the product, it will kind of clog it up. And then before you know it, you can't get a comb through it. So what I have found, whether it's heat okay or regular okay, is vigilant combing. Keep the comb in my pocket, comb through it frequently, and really be aware of it as you go through the day. Then at the end of the day, when I take my wig off, I comb through it very carefully, and I observe it every day as I go for the wear and tear. Now, with the heat okay synthetics, the best thing to make it look new again or to control that frizz is heat. And to me, using the flat iron is the easiest way to do that. Now, with each heat okay synthetic, the manufacturer has specific instructions which refer to that for your care. But as a general rule, if you are trying to restore your heat okay wig, using the flat iron gets you the best results. Now, some people also use steam on them as well. But for me, I always like the ease of the flat iron. Now, as far as choosing heat defiant, because you will have the ability to style it different every day or a couple times a week, to that I say, do you really want to go through that? That's something I discovered as I went along when I found that I had more than one wig. Just the ease of wearing your different looks rather than having to style them different all the time. And again, for styling videos, there's so many good YouTube videos out there that people can show you how to do that. So take a look at some of those. But my system when I was working as a registered nurse is whether it was a regular synthetic or a heat okay synthetic, I found a style that worked for me in the color I liked, and I would get similar lengths. Like, say I was wearing a shoulder length brown wig. I would find one that is straight and one that is wavy, and then just by switching them up, having straight and wavy choices ready to go rather than having to get the flat iron or the steamer out every time makes life really easy and really nice. And the ease of care as you go along, it is one of the coolest things. Like when people are all upset because they have to wear a wig or whatever, I found the silver lining in this whole thing is that you can look red carpet gorgeous in like 5 minutes. So when people call the shop and they're saying that they want human hair, I ask them why. Because, well, first of all, said it before, you do want a human hair wig. We'll do something about that and how to choose the correct one for you. But when people tell me they want the human hair wig because they're going to wash it, blow dry it, style it different every day, I teach them from top to bottom about the ease of care with the synthetic, because the general public seems to think that with human hair, you can do that. And yes, you can, but if you don't take the proper care of your human hair wig, it can be like a Brillo pad in like 12 weeks. Also, when we do an episode about human hair, I am going to call on some of the big guns. I like the people that do the best work with human hair, and I plan to include them in the future episode of the podcast talking about human hair, because it is a significant investment and you want to get the best. I see a lot of pieces coming into my shop that someone will have purchased because they went in and told the shop or ordered or what have you that they wanted human hair, and that was their only criteria for buying it. Well, you can have some really pretty bad human hair. And again, doesn't matter what the piece is made out of, the skill of the construction, the fineness of the knots, the transparency of the lace, how well the wig is made and fits your head is so much more important than what it's made out of, at least in my opinion. And this week, I have had a couple of clients come in, one man and one woman, that the choice that was perfect for them was a regular synthetic. There are some really nice synthetics. The one I'm thinking of that I had on somebody this week and I really want to mention is called First, F-I-R-S-T. And it's the part of Ellen Villa that is called Hair Society. They have a line of really nice wigs. They look like you just left a Beverly Hills salon between the precision cuts and the color. So that is something that I liked. And I also like on the box, it says Hair Society, and then it says a part of me, which when you get the right alternative hair, it really does become a part of you. With the gentleman that I had in my shop this week, also a regular synthetic, but it was one of the Belle Madame pieces from Germany. And again, the construction, when you get that wig that is made awesome, or that hair piece, and you're in front of the mirror and you're running your hands through it and the part looks amazing, really, I want you to have that feeling too. And the thing I also want to throw in here is that no matter what, in my shop, I have human hair synthetic, heat defiant synthetic, all out on the mannequins. If you want to see what my shop looks like, check out www.verybestlittlehairhouse.com. But my point is, when people come in and they want to see the human hair, I ask them to try and find it. So my point is that regular synthetic, heat defiant synthetic, human hair, if you get them all of the 10 out of 10 quality, nobody can tell the difference. So sometimes for the cost savings with synthetic versus human hair, that's a good reason alone to consider it. Anyway, hopefully you like this episode. If you want to come hang out in my wig group, Wise Wig Support Group, on Facebook. You can also find me through the website. If you want to chat about wigs, if I can help you with a style consultation, let me know. I'm good at helping you get that motivation and get over fear, because if we were to have a consult and I tell you you look good in a wig, trust me, you know you look good. So take care until the next episode. Bye-bye. If you loved this episode and want to connect with me, please go to my website and drop me an email, verybestlittlehairhouse.com, so we can get in touch. And until next time, remember that you are beautiful, perfect, and loved just the way you are.